Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome to this week's program presented by Singing River Mental Health. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a delight to be able to come on Channel 7 and to talk about different things concerning mental health, both locally, state, and on a national level. And one of those highlights was last week, and that was with Signe Shackelford. If you got to watch that program, she is a young lady who is a peer reviewer on a site visit from the Department of Mental Health, and I've heard so many good comments about her. The second half of today's program, we're going to run the first half of last week's program. I think it's very important to see. I think Signe demonstrates a person that had at one time a severe mental illness, and who through 3 steps forward and 2 steps back struggled with different things and continues to grow and to virtually understand her illness and to get better and continue to get better. And so I think that she's kind of a poster child. I just for that. She had some serious issues and was determined to get better. So I'm going to run the first half of last week's program with her. She's a peer reviewer, as I mentioned, and that peer reviewer is someone who has been a consumer or worked in the field, and whereas Signe's part was she was a consumer, and they come and they look at the various programs that we have and give us input along those lines. So she'll be part of the second half of today's program. Let me mention to you, next Monday, Singing River Services will host the statewide commissioners meeting for community mental health centers, and that is including the 15 regional community mental health centers, along with a sampling or representation of community mental health commissioners, and from 10 to until, and it's going to be at the L'Enfant, and we're going to have keynote speakers, and we're going to address issues concerning mental health in the state of Mississippi. And one thing we've been asked to do, and we're excited about doing that, is to do a presentation for the commissioners meeting, and we're going to kind of talk about things that have happened since Katrina, and how a pre-Katrina and a post-Katrina state for the current issues that we're dealing with on the coast, and also our rebuilding efforts for Singing River Services. And so that's going to be this coming Monday, and we're looking forward to that. Also, let me remind you of our symposium that's coming up May 15th. That is a Thursday. I'm sorry, May 14th. Stand corrected. May the 14th, and that's going to be a Thursday, and it's going to be at the Gaucher Convention Center from 10 to 2, and we're going to have all of our programs illustrated and demonstrated there, have booths, and have other agencies that are in the community as well that will be there. We will serve a light lunch. We are going to have a keynote speaker. We're going to have also a presentation, again, about some of the services and some of our people talking about the kinds of things that they do. And that's going to be at the Gaucher Convention Center Thursday, May 14th. So mark that down in your calendar. One other thing we'd like to talk to you about today, too, before we get into the second half of the program, is our expansion. Fortunately, at this particular point in time, because of our great staff and just continued tenacity to get things done and do better and work with integrity and intelligence, we are going to be able to expand our services. We're expanding them over into the Ocean Springs, St. Martin area. That's going to begin. Our target date is May 1, and you'll be seeing more about that in the paper. But if you have any inquiries, so what we'll plan to do, you can call the number you see on the screen there, and you can be watching the paper. What we intend to do as we grow back into that area is we'll operate a clinician out of that office, and also some case managers and possibly a doctor will be over there sometime in the west portion of Jackson County. And we're looking forward to seeing our friends and getting our foot back in the door, so to speak, over in that area. That number you see on the screen there is a vital number to this community. It's a number that's been in existence for some time. It is a number that represents the difference between life and death on some occasions. It is a number where you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the event that you have crisis and we have difficulty and you have stress. We live in a world that's full of stress. At this taping, we had the events of this past weekend, Binghamton, New York, where the murder-suicide took place, some, I think, total now of 14, due to a lot of miscommunication, stress, people being laid off. We are looking at a difficult economic turndown. We're looking at, am I an economist? No, I'm not, but I live in this world, as do you. We're looking at where people are seriously stressing, and they're over jobs, over family issues, many things. And this certainly has an effect in the home. And we want you to know that Singing River Services has trained professionals to talk to you about issues concerning stress, issues concerning EAPs. We have several EAPs, Employee Assistance Programs, in Jackson County. That is, if you have an employer that has this program with us, you need to talk about the stressors on your job, stressors in your home, in the economic situation, anything along those lines. We invite you to give us a call, get connected with someone, and let's talk about those things before we have action that may be regrettable. And along with some other 33 different programs that Singing River Services has, we offer them to you, and been in the community now for greater than 33 years. It's just a delight to be able to talk to you and to be here and to be able to look at that number that's on your screen there and to know that you have a friend in community mental health arena. Next Monday, we're going to be hosting the commissioners meeting. Don't forget that. But more importantly, May is Mental Health Month. May is Mental Health Month, and we're going to not only we're going to showcase at the center of that month our symposium, but we're going to be doing some other things in the community, in and about the community, concerning Mental Health Month. And the goal there, of course, is to raise the awareness, let you know about information that is available. Mental illness is a difficult place to be in one's life. It's a difficult place, and many times people wait too late to get some assistance. Our goal in the month of May is to help people recognize their needs, understand that there are tremendous progress is being made in most arenas in the community mental health field, and that you can get better, and you can stay better. And here again, with the support of other community services in Jackson County, but along with Singing River Mental Health, along with supported systems like case management and therapy and groups that we offer. And when we even talking about when you assisting you with parental issues, with helping kids be trained and educated and parented, and those kinds of things we think that are very, very, very important. And we offer those things. And the parenting class, of course, is free to the public, and you can get more information on that by calling the number that is on the screen there. And you can also call Beth Fennick, who is our clinical director. You can call Wanda Bell, who is the director of our program director at Singing River Services. So today, on the second half of the program, because of the positive feedback that we've had from Signe Shackelford, who was on the program, we're going to air that again. We're going to air her portion of that again. I wish I could do the whole thing, but she is an exemplary case of an individual that at one time fell ill with a mental condition and has come back to the place where she is just a marvelous example of the positive things that can be done through education, through medication, through training, through support. And she is just someone that we're very proud of, and so we wanted to share that. She was tickled to be here and to share a little bit of her journey, and we think it's important enough that we share it again this week with you. And so let me remind you again that there is something that you have heard on a previous program, or if there's something that you'd like to be talked about on a future program, if you would like some information regarding substance abuse, if you would like information concerning mental illness, the stages, the information regarding it, whether it's applicable to a child or to an adult, if you would like some information on the intellectual disability program, formerly known as the MRDD program, and the programs that we provide there. It is a known fact that the population that has with intellectual disabilities is tremendously underserved, particularly in our state. And so it is important that we get the information to you and into your hands. So if you would like to have some of that information, give us a call at the number that you see on the screen there, and we'll be glad to get that to you through the mail, or you can come by and you can pick it up. We're at 3407 Shamrock Court in Goshen, Mississippi. That's about all the time we have for this first segment. As I mentioned, Signe Shackelford is coming up behind this, and please stay tuned and listen to her. She's just a marvelous example of the healing process and positive things that can happen when people get the right kind of support. This is Sherman Blackwell. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome back to the second half of today's program. Thanks for joining us. We certainly do appreciate all the good, positive comments that we get through this program and other programs that we do and other media outlets. We appreciate you tuning in and listening in, and the reason we do that, again, to underscore it, is to let you know about the different services that are available locally and what's going on across the state of Mississippi vis-a-vis mental health issues, and also a wealth of great staff that just have tremendous knowledge and wealth of information about mental health issues. My guest today, back for the second half of the program, is Signe Shackelford. She is from Jackson, Mississippi. And Signe, but tell us a little bit. We talked about how you got into this, but you've been pretty much around the world, haven't you? Or
I've done a little bit of traveling, yes, sir.
You lived in New York.
I went to college in New York at Barnard College at Columbia University, and I was in publishing. And as we talked about that a little bit before, it wasn't, it was a different paced life, we'll say.
Okay, yeah.
And but I have had the opportunity to travel quite a bit as well.
And you write.
I do.
Okay. And
I do.
You just that's therapeutic too. But have you published yet, or have you
I
gotten
haven't,
some things?
but I'm
not
working
yet.
on my fiction. It's really with this kind of work. It's been kind of an issue of getting the time, but I have time now on the road. So working and publishing is about the worst way to learn how to write or have time to write your own projects. So.
Well, I know with your travels, you travel a lot. You said, around the state, and you said that gives you some time.
It does.
To.
And also, material. I kind of think of it as like my Eudora Welty WPA days.
There you go. There you go.
Going around the state.
There you go. Exactly right. You made Dr. Marty Allen. You know her. She's been on the program. She, had written books about adoption and things like that. So that's we like that. We like that diversity. You are. Give us your title again.
I'm a program coordinator for the Division of Consumer and Family Affairs, and so that's a division at the Department of Mental Health in Jackson.
And the specific part of your portfolio is as a peer reviewer, and we talked about that. Can you expand on that a little more? What kind of programs do y'all specifically look at? Is there a particular interest? I know as a peer reviewer, in the meetings we had the other day, I heard questions, what are the goals, what are the objectives, and where do we want consumers to go and be?
Sure. So just to elaborate a little bit on the program, it's a really unique program because it gives you the opportunity to have consumers, family members, staff people, and interested stakeholders all work together on a team. And so really, when you put people out in the field like that, it gives, say, a doctor a chance to work with a consumer and see, this person in a different light because you're working together and you're getting different perspectives on an issue that, is kind of it's your job. So, it's helpful to you.
Right.
We also like to think of it as an opportunity to exchange information around the state. So, if you're looking at a different region, you could say, oh, well, this is how we do it in our region, or this is what I've seen in other parts of the state that have worked.
Yeah.
So you can kind of compare those.
Yeah, and that's what I certainly, in our meeting yesterday with the other peer reviewers, and didn't get the full opportunity to say how much I appreciate what y'all do and how when y'all come down and the job that you do. And that's what we want to hear, I know locally, is input. First of all, here again, digress a little bit, you got a consumer with you and you got someone that can, maybe y'all should try it this way, and maybe because this worked.
Or it's been my experience that this doesn't work. And
Right.
It's all about the Department of Mental Health's commitment to having consumer-driven services. So, even down to the level of community mental health centers, but you're coming from, the department in Jackson's really committed to, and it's kind of, it's the way of the future of hiring people who have had the experience. We talked a lot about, earlier in the first segment, the personal experience being very, invaluable to both looking at services and eventually providing services with certified peer specialists.
Absolutely. And Judy Babb, she was part of the team. She had a lot of positive things to say, I think, and some impact. And one of our goals, too, is to glean from when a review committee, when your staff shows up, is to hear some of the things that you had just mentioned, what's happening at Region 11, where, and y'all be great resources for us because you have the purview of, you've been,
state.
you've seen it all, and so we certainly recommend, or look for that kind of input. When as you close out this process, you'll go back and you'll tell us
I'll
what'll
receive.
happen.
So basically, yesterday we met with some of your staff, and we had a chance to talk with the leadership of the region about, what y'all are most excited about, what programs y'all have going on, what your needs are.
Right.
To be realistic, that is discussed. And then today we had a chance to go and see 2 of your programs, the supervised living apartments and the clubhouse. And the clubhouse is in a new facility, so I was really excited to see that, and I think it looks great. And the apartments are just, I mean, it's just a wonderful program, and you have excellent staff working at both of those. You know, they'll go back and they'll write those reports and send them to the Division of Accreditation and Licensure, which will forward those. So it comes in alongside the, you know, the report that you're receiving from the DMH brass, as it were.
There you go.
Who's
Exactly.
giving you your certification as well.
Exactly. We are in that process, and we certainly want everybody to know. I mean, you know, the business that we do at Singing River is certified, authorized through, of course, the Department of Mental Health, and we work real closely with them. We appreciate Mr. LeGrand and the staff up there. They do an excellent job, and he's really, like you said, things are changing for the better, getting services in the community. But that certification is very important to us, and people are down. I mean, there's a battery of folks down. I mean, 10 or 12 down for that, and that happens once a year. Along with Medicaid audits, along with grant audits.
It must be like you're constantly being audited, but that's
you.
good for y'all to know that there are always people independently evaluating the services that they provide.
That is, it is. And then, and because we live in a society where you dot your I and you cross your T, and they're very interested in that. But what I hear, you know, and what I see and what you do, Signe, is that, you know, we're talking about outcome measure, we're talking about impacting people's lives for the better, changing them, and you're quite the inspiration on that, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, you know, that you've been there and done that and moved on. And
you know, I don't really have I mean, to me, it's just, it's a tiny deal. You know, I mean, it's a small thing that you have to work on and move past. And if I can help, you know, other people sort of do that in their own lives, then I think, you know, that's what it's really all about.
Yeah. If someone needed some more information from you or about there may be some consumers
who want
here.
To participate or. Sure. There's the Department of Mental Health's website. Just if you go to the main dmh.state.ms.gov, I think. It's if you just Google Department of Mental Health, and then it's the Division of Consumer and Family Affairs. So they can find me that way.
They can find you that way, and you can
I'd be happy to answer any questions or get anybody involved with the program.
That's great.
Who'd be interested.
Do y'all have many inquiries? How do people get enlisted at this particular point in time? How do you go about
You have to go through one of our consumer education training programs. So we have a few programs through NAMI, then we have the Mississippi Leadership Academy. So it's a basic application process, and then once we get to that point, you know, we sort of either set you up with a training, you know, either peer-to-peer, or I know you'll have NAMI connections down here.
Okay, and I got some information in the mail I was telling you about yesterday. What is that?
That's the Certified Peer Specialist program.
Okay.
And so that's also through our division. You can find more information about that on our website.
Good deal. Good deal.
Well. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening, I think, right now with the consumer movement, with you know, as I said, it's an evidence-based practice, consumer-driven services.
Great.
So.
But one does not have to necessarily have been a consumer. Could have a family member.
Or just if you're interested for whatever reason in mental health services, you know, we definitely respect that and take that into account as well. Because, you know, people have all different kinds of, you know, I mean, we're a state agency. It's, you know, this is your tax dollars at work. So
exactly.
Everybody has an interest in the programs that we run, whether you like it or not.
Right. They certainly do. They certainly do. My guest today has been Signe Shackelford. She is with the peer review person. She is at the Department of Mental Health and has been involved in doing that for a couple of years now, and has crisscrossed the state and has gained a lot of knowledge, and we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you being here, and we look forward to the input, from your committee, from your findings, and we really do want that to be implemented, heard, the good, and no agency is perfect, and we want to continue to strive to get better at what we do.
We appreciate all your hospitality and your openness. It's been a really great visit, so
well,
thank
we appreciate
you.
that. You gonna come back and see us before too long?
It'll be another year.
Be another year?
Yeah.
Maybe you come down for the symposium, though, huh?
If you invite me, I would love to.
Okay.
Larry's an excellent speaker. I can speak to that. I would love to come and hear Larry talk. He's just an incredibly knowledgeable individual.
He is.
So I think that would be, so maybe indeed, just send me the information.
All right,
I'll put it on my calendar.
We'll do that. Okay. Thanks for being here. Let me remind you, as we get down to our last minute, the number that you see on the screen there is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you would like more information concerning what you heard on the program today or on a previous program, please give us a call. We have a tremendous amount of information that we'd like to share with you, and we're going to talk more in the next couple of weeks about our symposium that's coming up and some other programs that are happening in the community with our children and with the elderly, and we're excited about the kinds of things and the impact and the change that we're attempting to make as we work hand in hand with people like you who care about people in our community. This is Sherman Blackwell. Thanks for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you again next week.